Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the finest Dawn of War Unification cast this side of East Yorkshire. And today we've got a 1 vs 1 Algarneus Crusade. Playing on the left hand side as the Tyranids, we've got CMAC 8787. And playing on the right hand side as the Imperial Guard, we've got Zeros. Zeros will be opening with a couple of conscripts, a Tech Priest Engine Seer, and a Tactica Control. Whereas CMAC will be going for a couple, in fact even triple helping of Gene Stealers and a Gauntai Broodhive. This is very exciting. I've quite literally got the Unification bug here for the Tyranids being played, just because on the Unification Discord I did see a Tyranid versus Imperial Guard game on the go there on their replay channel. Obviously links in the description for the Discord in the description below. And I thought, yeah, why not? Let's see what these guys are going on for. I do believe that in Unification, one of the best matchups in the entire game is Tyranids versus Imperial Guard, mainly because you've got the Imperial Guard, who are, very defensive. They can get their conscripts, which they've got all their flamers and stuff. Really good for killing loads of little gribblies and grobblies and stuff, hiding inside their little buildings to make sure they're all safe and stuff. And then the Gene Stealers and the Tyranids and all that stuff, well, they can just, run forward and kill things and stuff. So a hyper-aggressive faction versus a potentially, if you play it that way, hyper-defensive faction. How would one say it? The unstoppable force meeting a immovable object, which is definitely a very interesting thing to go for. And indeed, narratively, these boys, they've got wives, kids, mothers and fathers, defending the homeland from the nameless creatures coming round to make them dinner, I suppose. So, narratively, it's also one of my favourite faction matchups as well. But we are seeing some conscripts. Oh, well, actually, to be fair, these guys are fully qualified guardsmen, so they've got access to grenade launchers, plasma guns, as well as long-range rifles and heavy stubbers. But the main kings may be the humble conscript, who, they've got not much to... 80 morale, which is like the lowest in the game for most factions. But they have got access to 4 flamers. So, even though they might not be able to stand the line very much, burning things to death is something that they very much are able to do. And because they've got so many men in their squad, make it 19 in them, which is pretty decent. Those Gene Stealers in the early game are actually quite rubbish. But, as the game goes on and you get your tiers up, they get loads of different upgrades. So actually, Gene Stealers late game are absolutely fantastic. But I suppose when you're going up against conscripts, they do the business. They are able to, with their multiple arms, rip them and tear them like no man's prerogative. The conscripts now will hand on the listing post, and so they can just shoot all day long, baby. No problem with them whatsoever. The Gene Stealers have got quite high morale, and unlike a lot of Tyranid units, that when they lose the morale, they can't regain it unless they've got a hive-minded creature nearby. Obviously, they can regain it. But these gribblies, like the Tyranids, and you've gone for double Tyranids and Gene Stealers. So once Tyranids lose their morale, they've then lost it forever and ever, unless they've got a hive-mind creature nearby, or they go back home over yonder. And yeah, that's what I wanted to say. That's the key difference between the two factions. I will be honest, I've just came back from, believe it or not, church. There was a beer festival on my local church, and obviously, me being me, I've drunk a lot of beer, so my thoughts and theories might be less organised than otherwise normal. So I'm just doing my best, boys and girls. I'm just doing my best. And where the conscripts are sneaking around this listing post, lots of negative cover around here, so the Imperial Guard will absolutely enjoy fighting the Tyranids around these necks of woods. Tyranids got quite a high DPS pound for pound, considering that they've got 30 and 40 again. As I say in every video, ignore these numbers, but it's a general, litmus test to generally understand how much damage people do. The listing post very low in health at the moment, but thankfully the guardsmen have got a handful of grenade launchers and the conscripts with their flamers. That is why Zeros here has opened it with a tactical control, just because they are able to bring loads of heavy weapons to bear, which the Tyranids will struggle with in the early game. A critical location on the northern side is being decapped and recapped by C-Max Tyranids. And, oh, sorry, no, not Tyranids, because Helldivers 2. So, I do apologize. I do play a lot of Helldivers 2. That is my go-to chill-out game. So Tyranids and Tyranids are two factions from different universes that I get confused with very often. But I do quite like this map. I mean, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it's a very small map. You've got the Tyranids over here, got the Imperial Guard over here, not much space between them. But because there's lots of hills and narrow choke points, negative cover, and in the middle is quite a large open space. And large open spaces around the relics as well. So it's a really, really good map. You do quite often see it in the 1v1 games in Dawn of War Pro Mod. Which, to be fair, I've not done a Pro Mod cast for quite some time. I do probably need to double check on that game for a video sometime soon. I know Itness is probably chomping at the bit for a game on the channel sometime soon. So we'll have to look at that, but for now we're doing Unification.
The Emperor protects.
And just to answer any questions, it will be updating relatively soon. As I said in my last video, will happen sometime soon, in a week, 2 weeks, who knows, but it will happen relatively soon, so give those boys and girls a bit of chance, a bit of time. Beautiful flanking maneuver with these double flamers on either side. AoE damage really affecting these Termagants here. The G-Sealers being a little bit more, you know, high in health and high in armor are able to resist those flamers a little bit more, but making a maximum of 7 in their squad as opposed to Termagants, which is like 11. So, you know, reinforce those guys and keeping the squad alive on the front lines a little bit more difficult to do. And as I say, these Tyranids are Termagants, sorry. They can't regain the morale until they go back home, so the Imperial Guard will be able to hold their line here while they go back and reclaim their emotional well-being. So at the moment, the Tyranids have got the map control. They've got control over this. Well, they've potentially got control of this relic on the southern side, and they've also got stuff going on over here. Could really do with the building up a spore chimney on this relic. If you're unfamiliar with how the economy works for Tyranids, I will show you. So essentially, they've got these reclamation pools, which give them the blue money. And then they've got these spore chimneys, which gives them these yellows monies over here. And the yellow money is basically for taking up, for building the big and better things, and for getting your unit upgrades and such. So these things basically decide how quickly they can take up and how strong they can get. Whereas the reclamation pools basically dictate how many boys they can get on the field at any one given time. Obviously, I think their squad cap is also dictated. Hold on, let me double check this so I'm not selling you a false bill of goods here. Are you the squad cap? No, I think you are the. Yes, yes. So you're not that. You are just the yellow money entirely. But the squad cap is dictated by something else. I can't quite remember. It might be the Gontai Brood Halves, the actual production structures. But essentially, all you need to know, this is good for getting more boys out. This is good for getting better boys out. That's all realistically you need to know. And that's all I know off the top of my head. But the Tyranids have got the southern side of the map, and the Imperial Guard have squam-bombed their way over on the northern side. They will be decapping the relic here. And that is the map control sorted out. This could probably do a lot more, but I assume that you are doing. Yeah, you're taking up. You can tell the Tyranids have taken up because they've got a phallic appendage on the HQ, which is always good fun. A little bit of argy-bargy in the heavy cover. The spore, the bioplasma vein breaking the morale of these conscripts. They've now got extra morale. Do you have a hero on you? No, but you do have a sergeant, so that's helping you keep the line strong. Oh, it's got a heavy bottle to it, which, if you've watched recent videos, you'll know that I'm not a big fan of forward turret emplacements. But I suppose in this context, you know, the Tyranids are really going to focus on that and make sure that it's dead ASAP to make sure they can then focus down the squidgier guardsmen. But no, they've got it down, chasing these guys away, and there is a command squad I mean, ideally you want to see the command squad as early as humanly possible, just because it's like one of the best command squads known to man. But I suppose when you got a mess of lads that can focus down a command squad, maybe save them till later until they can be properly supported. That might be the idea. But the Imperial Guard well and truly shaken from their central emplacements. Once they get all these listing posts up there, this side of the map will be a lot more defensible, considering that they'll be able to jump inside the listing posts. But here come the warriors, infinitely more durable and also a lot more adaptable than the regular Terminid squad, Termagaunt squad. Get their devours, help them kill lightly armored infantry, but the warriors can go for rending claws, devourers, death spitters, and venom cannons in tier 3. So you name a type of armor, and the warriors can absolutely go for it. And then obviously, being a synapse creature, I apologise, we call them hive-minded creatures all this time. But no, they're synapse creatures, that is the technical term for the Tyranids. And yeah, so the morale for the Termagaunts will be super duper fine no matter how many of them die. I should really know all the Tyranid terminology, considering that they are my tabletop faction. I do have 2,000 points worth of those guides, and very occasionally, when I've got time, do I play them on the tabletop. But I just don't have time. But there we go. So you want to know where my allegiance lies? The mindless masses. It's just because I'm hungry, essentially. I'm just a hungry man, IRL, and I just want to eat more stuff. The warriors really showing their effectiveness on the battlefield. The Imperial Guard will definitely have to muster some better squads if we want to deal with them. Probably some vehicles, to be honest. They've gone for purely rending claws, so absolutely going for exclusively melee stuff, which helps them really crack through some, I know it doesn't say buildings here on their, counter list, but definitely helps them. I mean, look at that. Cracking through them like eggs in an omelette. And then the juicy yolk on the inside, munching on them. Beautiful stuff. I would really like to see the warriors having access to whips and swords and stuff. Again, like I say, as they are able to on the tabletop. But you know what? 4 weapons on one squad. And bearing in mind that these guys are based on the Tyranids from... Oh, I do believe it's 5th edition. I could be wrong on this. But basically all the factions here... I mean, not all the factions, obviously. You've got Space Marines, you've got the Primaris. But a lot of the foundational aspects of these factions being made in Unification were based on 5th edition, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Any Unification people in the comments, please let me know. I have a limited knowledge on all things. Now, the warriors have killed all the stuff outside here. The heavy weapons team has been killed, but they're coming over on yonder. And this is why I really like this map. They've got a listening post right just above, looking down on this, 1, this narrow choke point, and 2, this negative cover. And both factions do have this. So it's a really nicely placed listening post. I do believe that this map is one of the best design maps in the game. I know Fata Morga is a really popular map, but I think that this is, in my opinion, this one, Deadly Fun Archaeology and Galnea's Crusade, top 3 tier maps in my honest humble opinion. Got the Hellhound, and the Hellhound in Unification can be upgraded as a Devil Dog, which is anti-vehicle, Bane Wolf, which is anti-infantry, question mark, I can't quite remember, and then these 2 upgrades down here are just for the additional weapon on its side here. It's either here, or there's a man that comes up. I can't quite remember, but it's one of those things. The Imperial Guard have got their choke points sorted out. They've still got all this stuff organised. The Tyranids, now the Tyranids, I appreciate this because it makes a more thematic game. They want to come with all their boys down here, through the negative cover, where all the Imperial Guard have got their stuff. And, as I say, thematically, wonderful choice, but realistically, what they need to be doing is fighting over on this side, where it's a lot less defended and harder to defend because it's a wider area. But you know what? I don't mind. I respect C-Mac's approach of saying, you know what? This, you know, it is harder for a rich man to get to heaven than a camel for the eye of a needle, in the same way that it's harder for a Tyranid to get to the Golden Throne than it is for C-Mac to get through this narrow choke point. It's more entertaining, baby. It's more entertaining. Well, the Hellhound's running away from all this mischief and mayhem. The conscripts, which you would think fall off quite quickly, but they don't. They're useful all the way through the game. This amount of flamers, for this kind of cost 15 blue for every man. Really, really good value for money. Although this man's just, I don't know if you saw it there, but a man just got spiraled and backflipped back to the Shadow Realm. It's not what you want. And even though there's no specifically anti-vehicle stuff, the sheer mass are breaking through the Hellhound. Are seeing another heavy border turret, and we're all seeing a Punisher turret. So the Imperial Guard, not only are they able to upgrade the heavy border turrets to being anti-vehicle, they can also, I think there's like 6 different upgrades that they can get, which made them even more effective against specific kind of unit compositions. It dies anyway, but yeah, the effort was there. You're going to see a second Hellhound coming up. Current economy is 103 and 30 compared to 117. And I mean, however much this is going up, so the Tyranids have definitely got a major economic advantage. They're just not spending it as much as they want. I assume it's because they are waiting to the late game. Are you taking up at the hold? No, you're not, but you are getting... Oh, I see. You are getting your more warriors and your gaunt acclimatization. Very expensive upgrades in the grand scheme of things. But as the game goes on, these little weeblies will be becoming even more deadlier. So every wave that goes by, yes, okay, they might not be gaining any ground, but they're keeping the Imperial Guard army nice and small, nice and contained, while they make maximal use of their, you know, I mean, it's not map control, it's map equality, I guess. Hellhound chasing away the remainders of these warriors. We are now seeing the first Hellfex Carnifex, which is the ranged variant of a Carnifex. Comes out with quadruple sponge guns, if you can see down here. Look very much like a... Oh, what are they called? The, Oh, there's a type of sponge called the Sponge Daddy. That's what you call it. A very porous piece of material. That's very hard when dry, but very soft when wet. Kind of like your dad in a kind of way. And he's going to go... Sorry, I'm... I'm sorry, I'm a terrible person. We're going to see a Death Spitter, which should help them against anti-vehicle? Question mark. We'll see. But the Carnifexes have got demon armor, so anti-vehicle weaponry wouldn't necessarily work against the biological hides of the Carnifexes. Also, just realised that I've not upgraded the graphics to the maximal quality. I do apologise. I'm just a terrible person, and I can't remember to update things as much as possible. That being said, though, the last time I did a big game in Unification was on the Patreon, which was like a million years ago. It was like a 4-player one verse. Oh, it was a 4-player free-for-all. If you want to see more Unification and Ultimate Apocalypse games, the Patreon's the place to be, baby. £1 a month. It's a once a game a week. That's 4 games for £1. And we've started also, for you guys and girls at home that don't want to watch games on the Patreon, because obviously the watching quality is not as good, I've started uploading things on an unlisted playlist on the YouTubes, and you've got a link to that on the Patreon, so if you want to still watch on YouTube, the same quality, it's all there, baby, it's all there. And all the Patreon money goes towards me buying more plastic and the occasional upgrades on the computer. So, you know, it's a charity case. I'm poor. I'm not poor. I just want more money. That's all I want. Same as you, baby. Same as you. Oh, wait, double Hellhounds? Oh, yeah, so you do get the upgrade on the man on top. That's nice to see. The warriors, even though they're a bit more tougher than your regular Termagants, they will be scared away by the double tanks. We're now seeing a mass of heavy bolters. Also got the plasma cannon over yonder. So the Tyranids will need to find a bigger solution to this. So the Tyranids, so in my humble opinion, everything about Tyranids from tier 1 to tier 4 allows them to be really, really aggressive against the Imperial Guard. However, in the absolute late game, where you were able to get tier 2 Titans with the help of a relic, the Imperial Guard smacked the floor with the Tyranids because you've got your Bane Blades, you've got your literal Titans that can, you know, storm the crows against Tyranids. Whereas these guys, they've got the Hierophant, which is pretty good, all things considered. But, you know, they don't really have the absolute late game that the Imperial Guard have. Essentially, these guys are just playing for the late game. They're just going to sit here, mind their own business. You know, their jimmies are not being rustled at the moment. It's not going to push for anything. The Tyranids really do need to be a lot more aggressive. I'm not quite sure what tier they're in at the moment. They're phallic. Oh, no. Okay, so you're going to go for tier 3. So this phallus is going to get even longer. And the Imperial Guard even do a little bit of poking and prodding themselves. Not content to sit in their own place at home, which has then triggered the Termagants to move forward. But we've got the command squad on the front lines. We've got the heavy weapons teams, flamers, and the Imperial Guards with the grenade launchers. Termagants nowhere near capable of doing anything on this kind of footing. The Tyranids have made a good use of the narrow choke point just in case the Imperial Guard decide to be a bit aggressive themselves. The vision that the Termagants gave them allowed them to break down the listening post. And the Imperial Guard should probably really go for a couple more plasma generators. Warriors pushing on the left-hand side could have probably really done it at the same time as Termagants, but the Tyranids not making use out of their sheer numbers that they could possibly bring to the table. They currently, at the moment, don't have an army with the exception of I assume a Carnifex. Well, they're going to get a regular old Carnifex, which is remarkably strong. It's 4 squad cap and can really quickly break their way through a opponent's vehicles. Then you also need to get other stuff as well. Gonna go for some Spine Gaunts, super duper cheap, reinforced, get 10 blue. But could probably do a little bit more than that. Hellhounds, a little bit worse for wear in the health department. They've got a venom cannon to break down buildings and stuff. And even unsupported, this Carnifex is ripping and tearing through buildings, but the command squad targeting for close combat, preventing it from firing for a little while. Look at him, absolute hero. He doesn't care if he's 10 foot tall. He's going to slice through his ankles. I mean, he's dead now, but he kept him down for as long as he could. Whole command squad wipe out there. And here are the Spine Gaunts. Now, bearing in mind that all the upgrades that the Termagants have, the Spine Gaunts are also benefiting from as well. Is having their morale broken? But then something has regained their morale. I'm not quite sure what that is. Carnifexes are not synapse creatures, but the Tyranids also have, I don't know if you can see, but you can click this orbital fleet button, and they've got a bunch of abilities here which do stuff. And one of them is making sure everyone's okay emotionally. I can't quite remember all the Tyranid abilities because, like I said, I'm a terrible person. One of them is a really good one where you can turn your opponent's vehicles and units against them. And I do believe that they work against relic units as well. I don't think against Titan units. We can basically turn a Bane Blade against its opponent for about a minute and a half. Maybe. A certain number of minutes and seconds. There we go. You also have to, you know, forgive these players here. On the Unification Discord, it was noted that both players were on the more noobish levels, although I don't believe that. I believe that both players are making tactical choices based on the situation at hand. You know, I do quite like the Biovore choice. If you're going up against a bunch of infantry, artillery is always a wonderful choice, which is why both sides have gone from Basilisks there. I do believe that you don't have... I know you do have vision, because the critical location is a thing. So they're able to see all this nonsense. Oh, right, well, maybe the Tyranids weren't all that wise and such. But there we go. And Zeros, I assume, is the more advanced player because he's being very supportive. You know, we like that. Ah, but that was... Right, okay, so this is what I mean, right? So Gene Stealers, really shite in the early game, but late on, they become really strong. And I'm not giving up yet. There we go, we love that. So what I imagine is that CMAC is going to get as many upgrades as he can for the Gene Stealers. The Broodlord Infiltration. We've seen... it must have been about a year ago on... Oh, what was the map called? I can't quite remember, but it was literally a... it was either Imperial Guard versus Tyranids, or it was Demon Hunters versus Tyranids. But it basically became like, you know, the Demon Hunters were looking really strong. You know, they were absolutely dominating the battlefield. But then a sheer mass of Gene Stealers infiltrated, sneaking around, and then just basically sniping out every... Well, not sniping. You can't snipe in melee, but you know what I mean. And there was like a really tactical way of doing it, so, you know, we might see that again today. It always makes me think of... I can't remember what the mission was called, but in Command and Conquer, in one of the first missions where he was playing the Russian campaign, with one little spy sneaking around and destroying nonsense. Or maybe I've got the factions mixed up, but there was a mission like that. And that's what this kind of strategy always makes me think of. At the moment, we're a little bit slow. The Basilisk is still firing away, trying to take on that card effects. So we'll fast forward the game speed a little bit until there's some action going on. Here is these guys. They come forward, but they have no idea. Humble guardsmen sliced apart by shadows. They're not aware of what's to come. But this does signpost the Imperial Guard. The infiltration detection will be absolutely key in the plan ahead. Imperial Guard now moving forward. Reacting to the forward card effects. The commander has gone down once again. Pressing the air shaker platform. Oh, Tyranids. Oh, sorry, no. I've got my economy mixed up. Tyranids don't actually have that much money. This is an issue. I've gone for a Barb Strangler. Really good AoE damage. Kills the Imperial Guard. Pretty damn quick, especially with the Biovores throwing down as much acid as humanly possible. Got the mighty Standard Bearer. Look at him go. He's just a man on his own, charging. I mean, he died, but with a wonderful team solo charge that card effects. There's the Gene Stealers moving forward. And I was going to say something about the Imperial Guard there, but I've already forgotten what I was going to say. Heavy Weapons team, just before they're about to die from that Barb Strangler. Trying to survive, but then die, which is sad. Card effects is being broken down. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. So the requisition for the Tyranids, not that great at the moment, as the Gene Stealers run roughshod over the Earthshaker platform. Now, obviously their requisition pools are kind of like plasma generators in the sense that the amount that you can have is tied to the amount of HQs that you have. So a Tyranid player tends to have to build multiple HQs to get that late game economy that they need, which I don't think CMAC knows about. So that's fine. But it does have a Trigon Warren, sorry. So he's managed to kill the Earthshaker platform. And that is something. The old One-Eye there. Really strong vehicle-esque unit. Able to regenerate himself. As he is a tough old boy. He's basically a souped up card effect. Can't get any ranged upgrades there. So he's not as adaptable. And while we're still in old school Dawn of War, the pathing is still a bit of an issue for him. Another counter effects. Comes on over. How long have they taken the more dangerous path around to get back home? And oh, we've got a... Ah, right, yes, absolutely. So one, yeah, the aircraft play, really, really good against Tyranids. If they've gone for a mass of melee units, well, go in the skies, baby, go in the skies. They can't punch you when you're in the air. Jesus have died at some point. I don't remember when they died, but they did. Damn my ability to cast while being under the influence of alcohol. But there's one squad here, and there's another squad over here. Chuntering their way through the economy. Economy's been 93 and whatever percent this is, which obviously this is just the maximal amount, compared to 66 and 39, so the Imperial Guard have got a really small economy at the moment, but have saved up loads. So you could just spam out the conscripts. Still an untold amount, or at least buy a couple more plasma generators, just to balance out your econ. The guard being bashed by old One Eye. But now they've got 2 Vulture gunships up in the air. And they're deciding to run straight on towards a field command. If the Imperial Guard lose their HQ, it will be sent back, technologically wise. And actually, my goodness, migration is really, really... Old One Eye means he's not buggering around, is he? He's cutting his way through like a dog digging a hole at a beach. Double claws getting their way through. Where's the tech priest engines here when you need him? He's over here just soloing. Get in there and repair it before all hope is lost. Gets in there, but not quite quick enough. Oh dear. That's a tricky time. Make sure these tech priests stay alive, otherwise you won't be able to regain your HQ. Old One Eye there, sacrificing his life to get that HQ down, and now the Imperial Guard going to be as aggressive as humanly possible. The Ogrid's managing to squeeze out, just next time, a cheeky tee-hee from C-Mac. Oh, that's how there's the level of disrespect, my goodness, my gracious. No one needs that late game tee-hee. But, oh come on, Seros, let's go forward. The Tyranids have got bugger all on the battlefield at the moment. They're getting some more gene stealers. Nothing's coming from the Trigon Warren. Oh, never mind. A Trigon is coming from the Trigon Warren. That is effectively... Oh, I suppose... Is it their Titan unit? Am I getting my games confused? Can you get the Swarm Lord in Unification? I could be wrong. I could be wrong indeed. The Counter Effects Chamber is no more. So we will have to rely on that Trigon, but the Trigon can't punch aircraft. So we'll need something else to deal with that. Unless they are planning to ignore the planes and bring the pains. Which is a thing that could happen. Is it indeed a thing that could happen? Yeah, it's just really struggling with their economy at the moment. You need that second HQ. So, if you want to peruse previous Tyranid games on the channel, you'll notice that in a lot of Tyranid games, by this point, they'll have had one HQ obviously here because it's where it starts, but there may be one over here where they had map control, and maybe another one. And generally, kind of like the, is it the Zerg in StarCraft 2? Where as the game goes on, they occupy more of the map and their creep spreads. It's kind of like that. You've got to treat the Tyranids like the Zerg. Are they called a Zerg? Or is that what the main bad guy in Toy Story 2 was called? Can't remember, I'm sorry. I'm old, leave me alone. The Trigon's been finished. Summon him where you want. He's a long man, a windy mover. If you ever watch Burst Selector, not Burst Selector, sorry, was the Mighty Boosh, or the Birth Programs. Amazing. Though you guys outside the UK won't understand those references. There we go, he's dead. And now the Trigon is here. Send them forward. Do something. Let him scuttle across the battlefield. Look at him go. A mean mister. Being a little bit shy as he's going on about his business. Can't tunnel from the ground. Oh god, we've got a dancing vulture gunship there. Just dabbing on those haters. Oh, it's like Evolve, where a bunch of guys are going to chase down a big enemy. That's what this is. And now it's standing right in front of... Ah, there we go. Put him in a negative cover, C-Mac. That's where you want him. But definitely taking the aggro. What's everyone else? Oh, you're decapping the relics. As the Tyranids move around there, that's what you want to see. The teleport around the side, really quickly breaking through those mechanized command. If C-Mac was able to properly support things going on, it'd be unstoppable. It'd be unstoppable. He's just finally seen that Basilisk. Because of late game G-Sealers, they can kill everything that they come across. It's just, can you mass them up? As much as once you've got enough money saved up, you can buy some more. You can indeed buy some more. You've gone for some gargoyles of all things. I suppose you're anti-aircraft. So gargoyles for the anti-air. Gene-stealers for the anti-ground. Slicing and dicing these boys with but the barest of your fingers, but a double hellhound is enough to break the morale. It's a very unusual thing for Gene-stealers. Independent, strong men, creatures, things, its, whatever you call them. They go down. And look at this, the Vulture gunship's really struggling against these gargoyles. I mean, they're being, they've got some help from the bioplasma veins, but sending them back. Well, Imperial guy, I mean, you've got plenty of money, you'll be alright. Just repair things with your tech priest engine seers. Bring them forward, a bit of recycling. Never hurt no man. And without the turret support, the gargoyles are struggling. You can reinforce them at 15 blue, which is the same as your Termagants. He's not doing it. He's letting them die. You've got to respect that. So we've got to watch from the Tyranid perspective, just so we can see where these G-Sealers are going about. And it seems like at this stage of the game, it's a bit like two limp old men just slapping each other until they die. There's no real consistent strategy between both sides. It's just, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna send people around. It's not where I thought. So I watched the first 10 minutes of this game, and based on 10 minutes I thought, oh yeah, both players are really gonna get on top of it. So I thought it was gonna be like quite a climactic end to the game. That's why I didn't watch it all the way. That's not been the case. No shade to these players, obviously. We're all learning, we're all on our own journey when playing Dawn of War. And Unification be its own kind of beast. But at the moment, we don't know who's going to win. The Imperial Guard are pushing on the left side. The southern side. The G-Sealers are pushing on the northern side. They've gone for a base trade for no particular reason. But there is a base trade going on. And we respect it. The Hellhounds breaking their way through the Tyranid structures. The G-Sealers doing exactly the same, although I do think the G-Sealers are much more effective in their anti-building capacity. The Biovore has been chased around by these Ogrins. There's no mercy. There's no mess. There's no pass. We do have the mighty standard bearer with the Cassicans. Dear oh dear. And now the only production building is really the Hive Spire, actually. So the Imperial Guard have got that to deal with. Whereas Tyranids are killing all the damage dealy stuff. There's now no infiltration detection. Considering that those turrets have gone away. Now they're just going to kill things. We will do what we did the other day. Hive Spy's health is down here. HQ health is here. Oh, no, never mind. They're gonna chase the command squad. Keep focus. Don't get distracted. There we go. So Tyranids not only have to kill the field command, but also do things before the Hive Spy, kill all these other things before the Hive Spy dies. But it looks like the Tyranids, with a lack of attention span. Ah, yes. The old attention deficit is what killed the hive mind in the end. Hive Spy goes down, slowly but surely. And 1, 2, 3. It's good to be me. Hive Spy is dead. Oh no, hold on! The spore chimneys, they... hold on, you've got... Yeah, the spore chimneys, because you can recruit spore mines from them. They're technically production building. So the Imperial Guard need to kill the spore chimneys first. Oh, don't go for the tactical control. I'll kill this first. Oh, no, C-Mac. Oh, sweet summer child. Oh. You could actually win this game if you just killed those things. Oh, no, the spore chimney's dead. And that must be it, surely. There's nothing else for them to kill. Oh no, they've got another one of it! Oh, hold on! There's still a chance! There's still a chance! Quick! To the mechanized command. Oh no. What killed you then? Oh, that could have been yours all to play for! Oh well, you know what? Very unusual ending to a game I did not expect, like I say. I thought there was going to be Titans and all that shit going on. But that was not the case, it was just a very unusual game all the way through, but... And you know, it's fun, like I say. Imperial Guard vs Tyranids, one of the best matchups, mechanically and thematically, in my honest, humble opinion. But there we go. If you want to see more Unification stuff, there's a link to the Unification Discord below. Stuff will happen in the future. There'll be Definitive Edition out the wazoo at some point. I don't know when. It'll happen fairly soon. Mars Miss Landshark. I've got a Discord. I've got a Patreon. Love you lots. I'll see you in a bit. Peace.